No, it was a hot day.
Okay, we've got our forum. Just wait for the streaming to catch up. All right. Okay, call to order. Meeting of Albany Full Communities for May 8th, 2025. Present from Albany, Bill Surco, Chris Powers. For co-host, it's our new designee, William Smart. Congratulations on your appointment.
That should be condolence.
And he's doing double duty because he's also this city of Rensselaer representative. From Troy, we've got Andy Golden. Notably, nobody. Green Island, Gary Nathan is representing Green Island. And we've got Mark and Tom there from CRPC. And I don't think we have anybody on. Not yet, no. And so Mike Miller, I think, is in Outer Banks on vacation. Oh, nice. And that's in attendance. In regard to the next item on the agenda, we have the minutes from the last meeting, April 10th. So if people want to take a look at the minutes and see if anything needs to be adjusted.
Maybe we'll expect minutes.
So second. So Gary. We'll take a second. Bill.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Financial report from Tom White.
As of April 30th, we have just short shy of $35,000 in the bank, which miraculously equals the amount that is net due to the counties after you take the pluses and minuses. We're at just shy of 22% of the plan completions for the budget, excuse me. And just over 22 for all things including administration.
I still have yet to receive an update about my request for a contract extension for the revenue efficiency grant. So I'll reach out to them again.
That's Department of State. Any questions? I don't think this requires board action. Now we had the next in the vendor invoices. We've got invoice for Troy. Now, I think in regard to Campbell Avenue, we really refer to that as Cross Street in terms of nomenclature
Yes.
in our official.
I thought as I was typing the email, I was like, this might get confusing if you're not deeply involved with what's going on. But yes, it's the CM Smith invoice came in as Campbell Avenue sewer, but it's for the Cross Street, trunk rehabilitation
So in
project.
terms of our accounting, it's that, just so that's, so that's right. On Campbell Avenue, it's not listed on the 600%. The others, CRPC. Did we have any other invoices that needed to be processed in regard to the hoses, Arcadis or CHA or Carver's, not really that active yet with the C project. Yeah. Okay.
So just so everyone's clear, if our DOS grant is not extended, then the bill becomes 19,000.
Yeah, I
Okay.
report those.
Was that what was the expiration date of that,
Ended 20.
end of 24? Okay. Good, thank you. Thank you.
I might suggest then that we approve the bill in its entirety. And I'll book it that way, and when the extension actually occurs, presuming it does, then we'll go back and record the revenue side as
Okay,
grant. I think that's cleaner in the long run.
okay. So that, any questions, I have a motion to pay the invoices.
I'll make a motion.
Gary, wait a second. Bill, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. EFC disbursements and reconciliations, I did put in to the SharePoint what I had for,
Okay, I'll pull it out.
so if you want to make sure for your county purposes that you, and then if we want to see if there's things that we're missing, that
Yes.
backfill, that's through Paul Jackson.
Yeah, but I'll work on that in the next week or so and get back to you, Bill, on anything that's missing, or if it, I'll even let you know if it all checks out.
Okay, and I guess that didn't work out with Troy's payment with that past sign off for your past controller, so I don't know if
Oh, really? That last disbursement request in,
that didn't cut it with EFC, so I think they were waiting for Gabrielle and Tony to be reassigned again.
right, so they'd wait for, that requires approval by the council, and, I think that's supposed to go to the council at some point soon. I can't, control what they have going on, but it's supposed to go back in front of them, so.
Yeah. But that was supposed to be the money you had for closing out the Lizzie's contract. And I think we got dispersed on that. I don't know if that's, we got invoice from Tom yet to.
No, I don't believe so.
I didn't see.
No, we haven't dispersed anything.
No, I haven't sent anything over, but I'll see what I have. I thought I invoiced everything that I had.
I don't think so. I'll check. I don't think.
I'll check
for
it.
Okay. Well, at some
Actually, now
point,
that you mentioned that, I usually get like some kind of like, email that says like, hey, this happened, this went through, and I don't think I received one for that, so.
yeah. But our 58%, we got dispersed on it, so it just was a matter of going back through the booking and the coordination. And if we owe money to Cohoes, then there's,
Yeah, I think both Troy and with the last couple of payments that we had made out to the contractors, I think, yeah, you guys owe some more money too, but I know Troy still owes a little amount.
And Albany owes a fairly good sizing. I'll make sure, I'll get those reconciliations out to each, all.
yeah. So I've been trying to collect all the disbursement things from the FC and put them into the SharePoint, so Tom can, because he's been invoicing based on what's been dispersed. We've got some disbursements, so we were just trying to catch up with the invoices.
Yeah, we're gonna need some money because we don't have any money set aside for Little C. So when the bills come in from Carver. for Little C,
Yes, all right.
Green Island, Cohoes, it's all one happy family. Or unhappy family, I don't know. Choose. Yeah, so it needs to be more real time with the Little C stuff because those didn't do it. Dance with it.
Right.
So that's shows the EFC project updates. I guess all these just we're running our Beaver Creek facility. I guess we got pretty good rainfall. And we got 2 or 3 inches supposedly gonna get dumped on us, the next couple of days, so.
Yeah.
It's been a busy week of just cleaning out catch basins, things overflowing and Carmella calling and yelling at us. Sunday and Monday of like all this crazy, we're flooding up Seventh Avenue, we're flooding up South Troy, we're flooding this, we're flooding that. The fun never stops. Yeah.
Wait till this weekend goes by.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're supposed to get some, yes,
Real wet.
yeah.
yeah, we've got, we've got this opti set up on Western Park Lake, but the lake got real high through this storm, so now we're just figuring out how to get it drawn down before tonight.
Right.
You could, we got a big volume to play with, but if you're starting off with it full already.
Right.
Right, yeah.
You don't have anything to play with, so we're trying to do this where we're balancing and not causing a dry weather overflow by draining, but making some room for the next storm. So that's an interesting game that we're doing now that we have control of our stormwater. One event after another.
That's it, the last week has been very wet. Today, thank God we got a reprieve, but
Yeah,
tonight or tomorrow morning,
yeah,
we're back into the soup again,
yeah.
Yeah,
we're saturated.
Well, I've done my part in Albany. I had gutters installed and the drainage removed from the old French drain that was going directly into the sewer. So now it goes in my front yard and freezes on my driveway.
It's for a noble cause, though,
Mhm.
Mark, yeah.
yeah. So, one of the things that, it's not part of the long-term control plan, but it's sort of like a continuation from what was the long-term control plan, is we're doing, stormwater in lieu of the GI banking project. Trying to figure out how that's going. Because we got a lot of projects, particularly in the CSO and small. They don't have any property to do it,
Right.
to do much stormwater management. A lot of them are gut rehab, so they don't have much you can do, like do roofs or anything on those projects. So, we'd like to have our municipal projects be banked against some of these things and get some credits for the developers. And that's one aspect. Plus, the Patroon and the Trumco and the Normansville also have flooding problems, so we want to do things in that S4 areas as well as the CSO areas.
I know years ago, Albany Stormwater Coalition. We were looking briefly at the banking program. At the same time, we're looking at trying to set up utility districts. They're going kind of like going hand in hand. And I know Town of Colony ended up getting a report done on a utility district to fund stormwater. I think so did like New Scott. But we had a consultant do it out of one of the WQIP grants we had received. And if I remember right, they did touch on banking.
Yeah, well, Thales is the consultant that we're working with, actually, the CHA's the
Okay,
John Montaigne.
okay.
But anyway, that's sort of continuation from the bad study that Department of Justice.
Yeah.
But our other projects, one of the soccer stadium is still kind of ongoing. The one with the housing authority is more of a rush because of the housing authority wanted to perform their rehabilitation at its speed waters.
Are they confident about the money? I mean, that's a crapshoot probably now. I'm not sure anybody really knows.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw, Brighton cut of like 90-some% of SRF funding from the, that to the states. That would pretty much do it, the SRF. So, but I don't know if that's,
Well, they're increasing funding for drinking water and eliminating funding for stormwater. Is what the skinny budget.
yeah, but as far as New York State, EFC's program, it would still be continuing just on a reduced basis because it was set up. We designed that program figuring that the federal capitalization grants were going to be ending when we got going in '89. So we had only projected federal cap grants coming in for about another 4 years or 5 years. And then the program would be self-sustaining. And it was built that way as self-sustaining after that 4 or 5 year line. But it turned out federal cap grants never ceased.
yeah,
It's just there would be a reduced program and the funding lines would be really true funding lines. Now, at least on the sewer side, they're able to reach most of what they want to be able to reach.
so EFC's got,
Yes,
so the revolving funds got funds,
yes. Even,
but the bipartisan infrastructure money might too.
yeah, the grant portions, not the loan, but the grant portions, they're different. Yes.
That's what the environmental bonds.
Right, so, and, you know, they're administered a little bit different. But that was not taken into the equation when we developed the SRF program. That was just gonna be a loan program.
Yeah. But people might not be as interested if it's just.
You're right. When interest rates are high though, yes, they are, because, you know, 50% discount.
Yeah, it's still a good, if you got 5 or 6%.
The problem is that EFC, when they got the grants, they layered on an awful lot of additional requirements. It used to be when we were going to be going without federal funding, the attitude was, let's be very reasonable, never hold up a payment. Because we were trying to sell a one-stop shop, get in short term, we'll carry you into long term. The money will be in your account to pay the contractors.
Yeah, it's like bands.
Yes, we had 20 days from the day an invoice was submitted to get the money out the door. And if you had a question, you could highlight it. You did not stop that payment, though. You settled it between then and when the next payment came due.
Yeah, so
Why can't we get back to that?
Should have never deviated from it.
yeah, now it's so hard to really coach your cash flow.
You can't trust them now.
So what is the news with your projects in the goes, Bill or Gary?
See, it's plugging along. We have, Carver was a little bitter, got the notice to proceed. They started doing some submittals. They submitted a request to change the building type from a precast concrete to FRP. He said, no. Didn't really want to put a building there that I got a hole out with a sheetrock and walk in. So we're waiting to hear back from them on what their turnaround time is going to be. So we should know before the next meeting. I should have. Banner Ave, same. We're looking for a mid-May submission of report to the PSC and see. As far as I know, that's still on schedule. So.
Okay. And Ross Street, did you ever get to go to bid?
Not yet, but we did respond to Mike's EFC comments. We submitted that back to EFC Monday afternoon. So it's back with them to address the comments that they already made, and then hopefully at this point, everything will be settled, and then we, you know, have a scope of work that they agree with, and we can get that to get bids.
What's the construct date for that? Was it this year or next year?
This year,
This
to
year,
be done with construction by December 15th.
okay. So we don't get,
Yeah.
but hopefully if it's not a long duration project. then-
Right, it's replacing like 60 feet of sewer and then lining maybe 500 more feet of sewer. It should be something we could get done easily, you know. Within a couple of weeks, really, so,
weather permitting.
yeah, exactly, yeah, so hopefully we can just, the EFC says, okay, we like the comments, the EC likes the comments, we can put a bid package together, it goes that way.
And did DC get back in regard to the missing the first date? Can put in a request?
No, to push the notice to proceed date from April 1 to, yeah, I've never heard back. But I've been in constant communication with them on a whole host of other problems. So the communication's there, but nothing's been said about that yet. But I know that, you know, Martin kind of, you know, prepared the letter, I signed it, sent it in, everything looked good, so. But no word.
And Mark, is there anything we owe to, see, we haven't gotten our speeds permit application.
They haven't gotten it back.
There was a consent order on, you had to send them some signature pages or something, was that taken care of?
I think it was. I know Martin was going around getting the signatures. So, but I'll double check on that.
Yeah, we, maybe that didn't really involve the consent order, it was just our students. I think maybe the consent order didn't, would it change the dates for the, like, post-construction compliance, right? I think that we're actually milestones in the consent order.
I think you're right. I think it's the speedies permit, not the consent.
So that's, so project updates, I think that's it. The committee appointments, did we need to,
So I,
reassign this?
well, that depends on how you look at things, because the same people are still here. They're just representing different communities. So I don't think we have to take action on the appointments if the individuals are the same.
Okay. Did we have a, committee meeting at the next? Are we getting to the budget time or something?
Yeah, we should get, I mean, budget time, we gotta adopt it by September 30th. So we have time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, when we get the committees. Turns out it turned out well for us right now, but we did it by people's names, not titles.
Mhm.
Probably should have done it by titles, so that if whoever leaves, if somebody comes in at that same title, you don't have to keep on changing. In this particular case, though, it works out. Because, for example, I'm still here,
Mhm.
so.
So, we've got people on the committees. See, other business, is there anything else
We talked at the last meeting about engaging Whiteman Osterman.
for IMA?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's, you're gonna reach out to,
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you. Did I agree to reach out, or did you agree to reach out? I can reach out if you want me to.
yeah, or if you wanna tell me who our main contact is supposed to be, I'll
Okay.
reach out and see what,
They are still under contract, correct?
Don't know.
I guess we
Check
ought to
that
see
out,
what
too.
their engagement letter said, and
Yeah,
whether we need a new engagement letter.
Because it's been years, I think, since we,
I would hope we didn't have to RFP it again, but, let's see.
Fingers crossed. But these are not expenses of, well, these would be expenses in the corporation, right?
Yeah,
Can we not, use finance money? There's grant money for this,
well, I guess,
because then we'll need an MWB waiver.
we have, yeah, I guess the other question I would have is with Oscar Ross or one of our other. I don't think White Rossman was involved in the original line.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, we can see if
I don't know
Joe Scott wants to do some retirement work.
Yeah, I don't know if he was doing more of the drafting of that. When it was, Doesn't you done it or whether it's Oscar Ross is more of one. Original.
I think it was Joe Scott, not Jim Ross.
Joe had a hand in it. I'm not sure whether it was. If he helped actually write it or just review it, or,
All right,
yeah, Joe had, he had his finger in it.
so their new guy, the new Joe is, his last name is Canada. Over there.
Really? Okay, I don't know.
So do you want me to reach out to him, Bill? Just explain the scope.
Yeah, just, see if they do,
So the IMA would cover the, Beaver Creek project and post-construction monitoring expenses.
I guess it would cover. Yeah, the Beaver Creek and, photovoltaics projects and all of it,
Okay.
and then continued EDC requirements for the corporation.
Yeah.
That might linger past
Yeah.
2027.
Yeah, the post monitoring, that one I think is covered. Currently for us to actually find out what's happening according to the consent order. And that brings up the, I've got to talk with Angelo at, Albany County. We've got a commissioners meeting on the 21st. So both Maggie and myself or so being on the board. One of us wanted to bring that up, find out what type of resources they have to contribute to the sampling program.
That the, this, joint venture team also could look at that and see whether there's any way we might simplify it.
Yeah,
Do we really need to look at seven transects, or are we just really interested in?
well, we definitely need to look at the ones by the tributaries.
I mean, mostly what's been done is the disinfection at the treatment plants and Beaver Creek.
Yeah,
We need to be doing 7 of them or a couple of them.
yeah, that's probably a discussion we're gonna need to do with Mike Miller and company. They may want a few at the beginning to see what's actually coming in again. So the transects at the Mohawk River and the Hudson River. We may need those, but then, yeah, I'm not sure that we need like the second one in Gahoes by Bridge Avenue Bridge. Why? Yeah. And I think that there's a couple down in the middle of it. That my unofficial opinion is we probably don't need. You know, it's just the ones that are see what's coming in, and then at the environmental sensitive areas.
I think it wouldn't cost a lot to ask. If we could simplify,
Yeah,
It makes sense to me. Here's that.
that's probably where there's gonna be a problem, because we suspect,
The issue is that it's overall, it's overall water flow. It's not tributary, it's river flow.
right, but they're like Norman scale and, true. There's, significant flow going into the water bodies, and during the first study, it seemed to indicate that there was an awful lot of bacteria that was coming in from both of those tributaries.
but unfortunately,
You haven't done anything to improve it.
but unfortunately,
Well,
they have
there has
the,
been some.
they have the. People in the tarot numbers, but not quantity numbers. They didn't have the flow numbers necessarily to associate with those.
Right,
Although, now we do have USGS gauging stations. Germany, that weren't in place back, when it was originally.
and I think at the Patroon, the Albany ended up working with the sewer district. And they went in and they did discover quite a few cross connections, which have been rectified. But whether that certainly helps the problem, but whether it eliminates the problem, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy history for the future in particular. But we'll see how that goes, but it would be, I guess, a good time to like relook at that program. Maybe like I say, maybe the first year we'd stick with what we call for the, see if in the future we can simplify.
Yeah. Yeah, the number of transects. I guess, right, we don't need to duplicate every single point.
And hopefully we won't lead to more consent orders. Although it's hard to do. So, I guess, if we have a motion to adjourn,
I'll make a motion.
in a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next meeting,